Okay, everybody. I'm Greg. This is Paul. And you're watching the One Way Out podcast. And for this episode, I'm going to quiz Paul about the Galactic Starcruiser.
Yeah, I already missed the Galactic Starcruiser. I feel like it's sad what happened to it. But yeah, let's figure it'd be good to still talk about it. There's a lot of super Halcyon and Galactic Starcruiser fans. I'm in a bunch of the fan groups and stuff that they have their own parties and stuff now because
they can't go to the...
Yeah. So they'll act like it's on it still or part of that storyline. They wear the clothing, you know.
Why don't you start off with Galactic Starcruiser 101? What's the premise behind the whole thing? What are you signing up for? What did you expect leading into your... I mean, because you went more than once. But what did you expect leading into your first trip on the Galactic Starcruiser?
Honestly, one thing I can say is it was not what I expected at all.
Okay.
Like we were on the third ever trip, so the third trip ever we were on, and then we were on the third last trip ever.
Okay.
I did not. Let's just say I wanted to do it because it's Star Wars. I love Star Wars. We all love Star Wars. That's why we're here. That's why we're talking Star Wars.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I wanted to do it just because of Star Wars and say I did it. And I didn't, to be honest with you, originally have super high hopes.
Okay. Well, what is it exactly? It was
a 2-day cruise is how they treated it. So
okay.
You were there, or 3 days. So you were there for 2 nights, 3 days. They made you feel like they took you to space, and you were on the ship, the Halcyon.
Okay.
And you were on basically it was a cruise ship in space is how they treated it.
Okay.
And
so you exist inside the world of Star Wars, and this is a ship that is traveling in the galaxy.
Yeah, it's taking place somewhere between The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker.
Okay. And so basically, I heard somewhere that they said the events of the Galactic Starcruiser are canon in the Star Wars universe. How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, the last I know, those events are true, and they've also wrote a bunch of comics and stuff now that are also canon within that. I don't know how it works. Is it's a unique story. Okay. That there are some main characters involved, but it doesn't focus entirely around their story. It focuses around your story. So
interesting.
So one thing they did there is you use your phone a lot. They had a screens that you go to, and there were objectives and stuff for you to complete. And depending on how you completed some of these objectives, it would be good for your story. You were a bad person or you were a good person, light side or dark side type thing. So the nice thing about us going twice was I took 2 different paths, so I got to see cool stuff from one path I didn't see the first time, and then the second time I didn't see stuff. I seen stuff that I didn't see the first time, and vice versa. And it was awesome to do both paths and see both paths. And it was a lot of random stuff. Even doing it twice, it wasn't the same thing both times. By doing those different paths, I seen different little shows, met different people, and experienced different things I experienced the second time that I did not experience the first time. But pretty much, you get out of it, you got out of it what you put into it. If you came there and you dressed up and you kind of talked to the people like you were part of it, you got so much more out of it.
Okay.
After I knew that, the first time I didn't do that. The first time we went.
Mm-hmm.
The second time we went.
Now, was that the time you had the scar on your face?
The second time.
That was the first time?
The first time.
That was the first time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had that giant airsoft scar on my face.
Sorry.
We paid a fortune for family photos on the Starcruiser, and I had these welts all over my face, so my wife wasn't too happy about the welts on my face.
But I like to brag to everybody that I was there when that happened, but I'm not the one who did it.
Yeah, but no, Yeah, so it's basically a 3-day cruise.
Okay.
Um,
So you're enclosed in. It's like a building, and you go in, and it's.
yeah, so it made it look like it was like the entrance to it, like almost like the air was like almost like an airport entrance per se.
Okay.
On the side of a mountain, you went in. You got briefed a little bit of what's going on, and then they take you, like an elevator, and it makes you feel like you're going to the ship, like they're like shooting you in a pod to the
Okay.
Halcyon that's already floating around in space.
Is that like one of those enhanced reality things with the screens and the motion and everything?
Yeah, it had some motion in the elevator, and it had screens like around the sides and stuff. And I'll show some pictures. I have pictures of it and stuff like that. And,
Okay, cool.
and it took you up, and it made you feel like you were going in this pod to the Halcyon, the Galactic Starcruiser.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was cool, and so there was like the show, you're there the first night, and then the second night, and then the third day you're there. You're only there for a couple hours. It's like the show's pretty much over. So the first night you're there, and then the second night is like the whole show, and events happen throughout the show that make the story so entertaining and so interesting. Like at one point, the First Order takes over the ship.
Okay.
And they flip down First Order red banners everywhere, and they change the lights in the ship to red. And,
Oh, no kidding.
And there's a bunch of stormtroopers walking around, and basically they're telling you that they now took control of the ship. So you're like doing things to like either aid them,
Okay.
or to aid Rey and the Resistance.
Okay. Now, how does that work? Is that like you? They'll give you like a task, and you have to like go scan a QR code on your phone, and then do.
No,
the
it's a
thing,
lot
or-
more advanced than that. Like like I said, some of the stuff would be random. Like the first time we did the trip, I think it was actually just me and my son Logan. We were just like standing there, and there was like hardly anyone in the atrium at the time, and like Chewbacca comes walking out, and like he's like talking to us, and there was one of the other characters, I don't remember what it was at the time, was like, "Oh yeah, he wants you to come hide him from the First Order." So by the end of it though, there's like 10 of us there, and he's like ducking down behind us, and we're walking, and he's like sneaking through the floor like behind us, and stuff like that. And yeah, so every time there was like a major event to the story, they would sound like an alarm,
Okay.
and you're supposed to come to the atrium when that happens. But there was all these side things that weren't that. Like the first time, also Logan and I, because we were doing like the same path the first time.
Okay.
One of the characters pulled us aside and They had this room that it was supposed to feel like simulated, like.
Interrogation.
No, it looked like when you went outside there were plants and the sun and stuff like that.
Okay.
Which it actually was, but it was supposed to be like a simulation to like, in case people like lose their minds, feeling like claustrophobic in this place.
The space outside room.
Yeah. So, but we went there and there was like all these rocks, like people were stacking rocks and stuff.
Okay.
And you were with this girl, and I forget what they called him, like Saja or something like that. But she was like telling Logan and I about the Force and how it works and how it flows through you and stuff like that. And then she holds out her hand, and the rocks start to move and stuff like that when she holds out her hand. And there's no one else with us, just me and Logan at this. And then she had Logan do it too, and then he did it, and then the rocks and stuff moved around and stuff like that. It was
That's so cool.
And it was a lot of like things like that, like small things. Like the nice thing about it is you were only in a group. I think 200 people was the most that took each cruise was like 200 people. So you had more than enough time to talk to all the actors and have interactions with them and conversations with them. But one thing that was super, super awesome that happened and once again, I always say me and Logan, because I don't know where Jen and Olivia are at this time. They're doing their own paths and stuff. Because, Jen was the one who wanted to do the Starcruiser the second time.
Mm-hmm.
Jen absolutely loved how it worked and how it was on the Starcruiser. And as expensive as it was for a family of 4 to do it, she's the one that's like, when they announced they were shutting it down, she's like, we got to do that again. Like, I know we were just there, but we got to go again. And so we did. But the second time, similar kind of thing happened. Logan and I are walking down a hallway, and here come a door opens, and here's Rey peeking around a corner. And we're
It wasn't actually Daisy Ridley, though, was it?
No, it wasn't.
That would have been something.
Yeah. She, the girl that they had, I mean, she was pretty convincing. She looked, like, they definitely cast people that really fit the roles well.
Okay, cool.
Or I shouldn't say the roles, like her role. Like, she was the only, like, named character other than Chewbacca that was, you know, Kylo Ren, but he had a mask on.
Well, yeah, that could have been anybody, but they didn't have Admiral Hux.
No.
That would have been fun.
No, but we see her, and we're like, oh, look, there's Rey, and she's talking, and she's like, I need you to see something, come with me. And we follow her, and she takes us into this room, and there's like 4 or 5 other people in this like room. Now, we did not experience this the first time. Like I said, it was different. That's what was so awesome about it. I believe there's probably 50 things I still didn't see the 2 trips I did the Starcruiser. And she takes us in this room, and there's R2's there in the room, and she's talking to you a little bit, and R2 shows like, or she's talking to R2 or something. I have a video of this. We'll show the video on the thing. Nice. But she brings out a Jedi holocron and sets it there, and it opens up. Like, it sits there and opens, like the holocron opens, and projection of Yoda comes out of it and explains like the Force and how you're protecting it and all these things. And it was like an awesome experience with the music going on, the Star Wars music and everything while this was going on. It was super, super cool. And I do have a video on my phone for this. I actually just watched it the other day, so I'll make sure you get the video so you can maybe clip it and add something to this.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But that's
going in, right?
I must. Master Yoda, I am. For many years in isolation, but never alone. Always with me, the Force is. Always revealing itself, if open what is. Discoveries of new abilities, secrets of the Force. Legend, I thought, but now I know are real. Uncertain times, these are. Captain, those on the dark path will be much, much at stake. Keep these safe, you must. Unimaginable power these secrets carry. With a terrible cost. Yes, terrible. In this holocron, these learnings I place, collecting knowledge, wisdom of the Force. To you who follow the path of the light, hope to the galaxy will you bring. Your name, I know not. Your spirit, yes, that I feel. Strong is your connection to the Force. Know you, I feel I do, but should never we meet. May the Force be with you, always.
Yeah, we had a lot of cool experiences, and one thing they did on the Starcruiser too is they had like lightsaber training, which was at first I was like, that seems kind of dumb, like the way they were doing it, but then it was fun the way they did it.
Okay.
You know? So like basically what it is like they're shooting like lasers at you, and then you're blocking them.
Oh, okay.
You're hitting them, and then some people had like shields that block the lasers too. So you like work as like kind of like a team, and like they would shoot, and if you missed, you shielded it and stuff like that. Like, so it was pretty neat. Once again, it's all like they don't just take you to a room like it's like an amusement park and you're riding this ride. Like they're explaining the Force and the Jedi Order and stuff like that.
So it was a lot like a Choose Your Own Adventure book?
Yeah, I mean, you got as much out of it as you wanted or as little out of it as you wanted. Like you did. And it I got a lot the first time, but the second time we went all in with it, and we got a lot more out of it the second time.
Okay. What did you dress as the second time?
I just found a cool Star Wars themed jacket.
Okay.
I wore gray pants with this jacket on, and the kids both had outfits they wore both times. Olivia had the captain's outfit, which was a blue coat and a blue captain's hat.
Yeah, I remember Jen posted a picture of her wearing the hat. I remember the hat on her.
Yeah. And then Logan was kind of a, I think it was supposed to be a Jedi training jacket.
Okay. That's cool.
But it was Jen didn't dress up or anything, but it was funny. So, well, I will talk about some other stuff and I'll get back to that. But the food too was pretty extreme.
Really?
You know how I'm funny with food,
I know you're
things.
funny with food.
I eat almost anything, but I like it certain ways, and but the food there is all they theme it from different Star Wars planets.
Okay.
So they'll the shrimp will be almost glow in the dark blue and stuff like that, and yeah, and it was you had your both Friday night and Saturday night you had your main meals in the main halls, and during those meals we met amazing people. One thing we didn't get a chance to do, unfortunately, that we tried both times was they had a special ticket you could buy to sit at the captain's table, and we didn't get to do that. We tried because you got a special pin for sitting at the captain's table, because you did get a pin for going, and then you could get other pins from different things if you asked the right person or found it or whatever.
Collectible type stuff.
Yeah, pin collecting in Disney is a huge thing.
I've heard.
So, yeah, so we'd eat our food and it would be themed every night, something different, and it was...
Did you ever have the Mon Calamari rings?
No, I didn't have that, but...
I don't know if that's a thing or not.
Yeah, it was... Yeah, we have pictures, like I said, we'll share all these pictures, of the food and stuff like that, but here's a cool experience that happened from both times. So, when we were there the first time, our waiter was awesome. He was so, and you had the same waiter both nights. Okay. So you really got to meet them. One waiter might have been in charge of 4 or 5 tables, and you really got to meet him. And everyone stayed 100% in character. Okay. Even if you tried to ask them something out of character, they would not. They would switch it to something else. They would not answer it or anything like that. These people were even the people, the servers and stuff, they were on task. But so we had this guy as our waiter. He's super, super cool, and stuff like that. So Olivia at this time, every time we go somewhere, she was drawing pictures of people. Okay. So she sat there and she drew a picture of him, and then when we were getting closer to leaving, she's like, "Oh, I drew this picture for you," and he was so happy for this picture. He got us all rounds of drinks, and the drinks were expensive. The kids got obviously non-alcoholic, but we tried these and he recommended and they were expensive drinks that had stuff sparking in them, and they made them look really, really fancy and stuff like that. And he was super happy about it, he was. And when we went back the second time, we had a different waiter, but we saw the waiter there, and we told our new waiter, "Oh, hey, that's who we had the first time here." Yeah. And my daughter gave him a picture, and he was super happy about it and stuff like that. And so he told him to come over, and he came over, and he didn't even question it. He instantly was like, "You're the one who drew me the picture." He's like, "I have that at home, my house, hanging. I see it every single day." And
that's cool.
And he's and he was talking to us for a while. He's like, "It's so nice to see you guys again." And basically, it's so sad that this will probably be the last time. Yeah. And because the Starcruiser meant a lot to a lot of people. It did, and I'll get to that in a little bit. How emotional it was the second time. Yeah. But yeah, we other amazing things that happened. They did. You had an excursion on Saturday morning, and the excursion, they flew you to Galaxy's Edge, to Batuu. So they flew you to Galaxy's Edge. They basically, it was people used to make fun of it online, but it actually was super. Everyone who made fun of or complained about the Starcruiser were 100% people that were not ever on or did not plan to go to the Starcruiser. Because I'm telling you right now, if you did it,
You would have loved it.
even if you were not a Star Wars fan like my wife, she loved it so much.
Yeah.
But they take you, basically it's a box truck. You're in a box truck. But the inside the box truck is awesome, and it makes you feel like you're on a Star Wars
Shuttle?
ship. Yes. And obviously it's bumpy because you're in a box truck.
Yeah.
And you're not driving far. Like the distance from like Galaxy, where they took you to Galaxy's Edge to the where the Starcruiser was,
Right.
it's probably not even like a couple 300 feet, but they must have drove around something to like make it feel like it was a little bit longer of a trip or whatever. It was actually funny that first time we went, we had to wait a while to get to come back from Galaxy's Edge because the box truck broke down.
Oh no.
But they ended up. What was awesome about it is they gave us. So like when you got the excursion, you could walk right on Rise of the Resistance or the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run.
Nice.
Which anyone who's been to Disney knows the Rise of Resistance. If you're not paying extra, you sometimes are waiting 8 hours for that ride.
Jeez.
So being able to walk right on was a huge benefit in itself. But when they couldn't take us back to the Starcruiser,
They let you go on the other one?
no, they let us. We rode Rise of Resistance. I think 2 more times. They let us go back on it like 2 more times. So we got to ride it like 3 times because we couldn't go back on. Like they took the Starcruiser people. They super took care of you, and you were supposed to wear your Starcruiser pin. And while you would walk around Galaxy's Edge at Batuu or Galaxy's Edge, every worker would acknowledge you as like almost like royalty. For me, it's like they would talk to you about the Starcruiser and about your experience on it. Like, oh, we're friends with the captain and stuff. Yeah,
So they totally just drop into character and.
Yep. On Galaxy's Edge, for the most part, most people are always in character.
Okay.
In Galaxy's Edge.
You can tell I've never.
Yeah, Greg's never been. We're gonna try to change that, but Greg's never been there. But believe me, I'm super excited to go with someone new. Like it's just as like it's almost like the first time I've seen it. If I take someone that's never been there to see it, like I'm excited for them to experience it because pictures and stuff don't do this stuff justice. But yeah, so you go on your excursion. You know, there were parts of your story you could still complete on your excursion.
Okay.
That you're doing on the Starcruiser, and you could go. We decided both times that we would do the excursion for a minimum amount of time. Go ride Rise of the Resistance. Go ride the Millennium Falcon.
Okay.
Because like you spent all this money to be on the Starcruiser,
Right.
we would rather just spend as much time as we could on the Starcruiser. Because the Starcruiser too, the atrium was amazing, and that's where all the main story took place.
Okay.
But like they also had like cantina, like a bar in the Starcruiser with good drinks.
Yeah.
The second time we were there, we did it was called the tour of something. It was like 4 different drinks from around the galaxy.
Okay.
We actually didn't like the drinks a lot. They looked awesome, but we didn't care for them. But they also had a huge like digital sabacc table there.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so you would go and you'd play.
You remember the original? Some of the book descriptions of sabacc were like the cards would actually physically, they were on a timer, and they would randomly change values.
I don't remember that.
Oh yeah, there was I think it was one of the Han Solo books where he was when he it was Han Solo and when he and this is expanded universe stuff when he met Lando Calrissian, they met and they did this in Solo. He met Lando at a sabacc table, which I'm glad they kept that, but they were playing sabacc and the description of the cards is so in detail and the way they're the way they lay the game out and the way they show the cards actually changing value because they're I don't know, they have like hologram capabilities to just randomly change.
Well, I know there's different versions of sabacc too. I actually have 2 or 3 different decks. The Galactic Starcruiser deck was a different version than the deck you bought in Galaxy's Edge. So I have different decks. You play them slightly different ways.
Okay, I was going to ask you if the rules were the same or...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know all the sabacc rules from... I know, like, the sabacc, like, that some people play is like really advanced. These games are designed to be pretty simple.
To be playable.
Yeah. So the digital table, like I kept saying, is like, man, like what they're gonna do with that table? I'm like, some rich person is gonna buy that digital sabacc table, you know.
Yeah.
It was cool. The way it was designed, it was cool. And like late at night, I remember the one night it was like 2 a.m, and I'm sitting there playing sabacc with like, you know, a couple cool people I've met on the Starcruiser, and like it was a lot of fun. The rooms were incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you had like a giant window that looked like you're looking in space, and like ships are flying by and asteroids are going by, and you had your own personal droid in the room that was just like a TV screen.
Right.
But you could ask it anything. It was like if you had a question or a concern, you could ask and it would answer you. And you know, it was the bathroom was amazing. I remember the soap and shampoo and stuff. I don't remember the brand. Jen will remember the brand because we've tried to. You can buy that brand. Like that stuff felt so good on your hair, your skin, everything, and you know, you could take what was left of it home. Like they gave you like a metal tin with the stuff in, and you could take and like we used it. Like it was like the stuff was awesome in it, but even the bedding and everything was so cool. And then the kids had like bunk beds that were like built into the wall. It was awesome. And we'll show pictures of that. But yeah, other than that, like the Starcruiser, I don't know what else was on it, but I could talk about the second trip a little bit and how emotional and stuff it was.
Yeah. So why don't you start with? Obviously, we know the Starcruiser is no more at this point.
Yeah, it's so sad.
Why do you think it is that they had to? Was it just
it? So I think the timing of its release, I think wasn't smart. Only because after COVID, lots of people weren't working. People didn't have the money. And then you open this amazing attraction that is a fortune. I mean, it would cost us with a family of 4. It was like $9,000 to $10,000 for those 2 nights. Yeah. It was super expensive. And then additional things like the first year, the photo pass thing was like $400. Like things are expensive. And then you go to Galaxy's Edge, things are expensive, like super expensive. And you know, I think that was a big part of it. I do also think that it came out, you know, people had some of the Star Wars fans had a certain feeling of the sequel trilogy, especially after Last Jedi and then Rise of the Skywalker, and I think people felt a certain way, and I think, you know, no matter, I know they want to make stuff for all the new fans as well, but I think if that would have been themed in either, if that would have been themed in either the prequel trilogy or the original trilogy, I think it would still be operational today.
okay?
And I understand it didn't fit the theme to go with Galaxy's Edge the way they wanted to go with Galaxy's Edge and Batuu, and because that takes place during a time, and that's canon and takes place during a time in Star Wars as well. I also think if they would have gave it a little bit and rebranded it to the Mandoverse and had the story been Mandalorian themed, I think would also have got a lot of attention. If there was a Mandalorian walking around with a Grogu and stuff like that, I think would have been huge for them. I guess they turned the building now into some kind of animation studio or something. It's just a shame because I feel like this failed attempt for Disney will make it that we'll never get anything ever like it again.
Yeah, I mean it's sad to say, but you know, the perceived failure of, you know, the movie Solo was a huge part in, at least from what I understood, in the reasoning behind switching to the shows on Disney Plus instead of doing so much in the way of movies.
The thing, we talked about this off camera earlier. Like, a failed Star Wars movie is still a top 100 movie in sales.
I mean, yeah, it's it's like you and I both said, it's a very high bar.
But yeah, I mean, when you have movies making $1 billion and then you have a movie making $600 million, they consider that a failure. Well, any other movie in the industry, if it makes $600 million, it's the biggest success ever.
Oh, it's a wild success.
So it's like I said, it was the people that bitched about the price and everything like that about the Star Cruiser is because they didn't do it. Like, I did not feel ripped off in any way.
Yeah.
Because the food was obviously super expensive. The rooms were beautiful and super expensive. The amount of actors and cast and servers and everything who were there for those 2 days with you.
Yeah.
Like,
it's premium.
You paid for an amazing experience. Like, one thing I even forgot to talk about, one of the activities you did, like, you had different activities every day that you had a schedule for them, and they told you when your schedules were.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you if you had like an itinerary.
Yeah, like the one, like we knew when we went and did the lightsaber training. Mm-hmm. We knew when we did the, you're like flying the ship and manning the guns and doing all that stuff. So like it's cool because you go to different you went to different stations. Like this station is doing these arms to grab things. This station is shooting guns. Mm-hmm. This station is fixing the shields. And you did these different stations as you went through it. Like there were things like that were cool to do, and you had like an itinerary for them, and it was simple stuff, but it was for like all ages. Right. But it was fun. It was still fun to do. But yeah, I do think the Star Cruiser would still be here today if they just would have like maybe themed it,
or at least pivoted, maybe.
Yeah, just pivoted to a different era of Star Wars and. Mm-hmm.
Because you gotta figure on some level there's, people in the galaxy that are not involved in the story that we watched, and things like that cruiser had to exist.
Yeah, like I said, I'm a Star Wars fan. I love all Star Wars. I can find faults in Star Wars, but there's so many positives, even of the sequel trilogy, that I'm not gonna sit here and hate on the movies because of it. And I'm not gonna hate. Galaxy's Edge is amazing. The Galactic Starcruiser was amazing.
I mean, it all looks so much fun.
Yeah, it is so much fun. But the final trip though, we tried to go to the last trip. The 28th was the last trip, and that would have been Jen's birthday. But that one booked out. Like that was so hard to get in. So
immediately.
Yeah, because what they did was they canceled all bookings, and then what they did is they did a day when they announced they were closing. They canceled all bookings. And said when they were closing, and then they did a day where tickets went on sale, and they were gone like instantly for those last like 10 trips or whatever. Yeah, so we took when we finally got through on the phone, like we want the closest trip to the end, and we got the third last.
Okay.
But
I think that's a little funny because you would imagine if they had bookings, they would have just seen them through.
No, what they did is anyone who was past the closing days, they gave them a chance to move their days, and I think they gave a discount or something for them to move their days to one of the if they wanted to one of the other days.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because it was actually concerning that we weren't going to be able to get tickets because, I would assume they had thousands of people booked after the close dates, and they were giving them first dibs on those days. So the fact that we even got in, I think, was pretty amazing to me. It was pretty exciting. So, but yeah,
that's cool though.
One thing that happened that was really fun on the last cruise we did was we were part of a group of people like on social media who I just happened to meet them, and like you could find groups like this is a group page that's for this date, of the Star Cruiser, and we planned on these other activities as this group that had nothing to do with with the Star Cruiser. I'm not saying it had nothing to do with it, but like there were different activities. Like late at night, we did these things and stuff like that. So
that's cool.
They sent links and stuff, and we found them, and we all bought Andor costumes, prison costumes.
Oh, nice!
And we literally marched around the Star Cruiser for like an hour, chanting "One way out, one way out." That's obviously what our podcast is called, but.
Oh my God! Please tell me there's some video.
Yeah, there's some videos, some pictures, and stuff.
I need to get that cut into this.
Yeah, there's people that of course had to be a little stupid about it. Like the one guy's wearing like a floaty duck and stuff like that as we're going around saying it. But we did some.
I mean, they had to swim.
Yeah, we did some. We did cool things like that. Like we also, the one lady You could buy shirts from her. She got shirts made that said "Forever" and had the Halcyon symbol on them.
Okay.
So a lot of people wore those shirts the last day and stuff like that on the ship. And then, which was like, it's hard to explain this, but other than just saying that the emotions were crazy for people. The last night, so Saturday night, the last night of the show, like the actors, just talking to them, they were bawling. Like they were crying. They put so much time and effort into preparing for their characters, planning for this, and they felt like they were a part of Disney that they never felt like before. I know people that I think my friend Andrew Cox, his wife Emily, she knows someone that was on the Starcruiser that now is like something dumb at like Toy Story Land or whatever. Like these people had like, they felt like they were something, you know, more than just working.
Well,
or
they were.
whatever. And
I'm sorry, they were.
They were. But like that last night, like you'd go talk to any of them and they would bawl. And a lot of people brought stuff to give and trade like presents and stuff. And I made a whole bunch of like with the Glowforge, like acrylic like name things that said Tabuite on them, which it was one of their sayings. And like we were handing people, and people get emotional about it and stuff like that. And the last, when the last battle, the last thing happens, I can talk about that a little bit after this. So we didn't talk about that at all. But when it was all said and done, like all the people in the group not everyone, but all the people in the group page, we all stood in the background and we had signs made that said "Forever" with the symbol, and you just see all them people bawling up there because they couldn't like handle it. And it was, like I said, it was super fun, and kudos to the people who organized that stuff and did those extra fun things, because it's an experience that like my family will never forget. We talk about the Starcruiser trip often. Like it's hard to compare vacations to the Starcruiser vacations.
Yeah, I mean, heck, I wasn't there, and I'm gonna confess to our 36 subscribers as of now, as of the time of shooting anyway, that I've heard most of this stuff, and I'm still getting like, hearing about it.
But the as far as like how, just an explanation of how good the acting and stuff actually was. So on this final like epic night of Saturday night, this sequence with acting and stuff goes on where they're arguing over the ship, and the captain's saying, we're taking it back over and all that. Well, Kylo Ren comes, and he's up top on the balcony, and he's talking to you, and he's saying stuff, and he actually uses the Force and like rips the chandelier down from the ceiling, and it's like hanging above you then.
Oh, jeez.
It's sitting there or whatever, and Rey comes out, and this is where they had that first image of the actual lightsaber that like extends and lights up like like a real lightsaber, and she has it there, and she pulls it up, and they go into this like pretty awesome fight sequence between the two of them. And there's even a scene where like he grabs her with the Force and pulls her forward, and like obviously they had some kind of like conveyor belt she's standing on up there. But it was awesome, and like when the lightsabers would hit like the sides, like sparks and stuff would fly up, and
wow,
like it was an awesome thing. And to make a long story short, Rey defeats Kylo Ren, and the one stormtrooper betrays them, which is, you find out, is actually one of the other characters that's been a part of it, dressed up as a stormtrooper, and we help take the ship back over from the First Order.
Okay.
And then it has this cool thing with Yoda speaks and stuff afterwards. Like you hear it, like him, like basically Force Spirit Yoda speaking to Rey.
Right.
And it was just, like I said, it was just the whole thing. I could talk about the Starcruiser for hours. Like, and I'm sure there's a lot of things I'm thinking, oh crap, man, I wish I would have talked about that in the podcast for it, and I'll remember them later. But it was just, it was a once in a lifetime for me, a twice in a lifetime experience. If it still existed, I would be more broke than I already am, because I would probably go, that would probably have been at least a once every other year. And I know their plans originally were for the story to change often. So I do believe, like, if you would have went every other year, every 3 years, that it would have been still the same era, but a new story. It would have changed some. And
okay.
I know that's what the plans they had originally for the Starcruiser.
Well, that's a darn shame because I mean it sounds like it was amazing and it fell victim to
I mean, even
outside world.
even the entertainment was fun. Like they had people,
Yeah.
different races and stuff, singing and performing on instruments and
Cool.
different aliens walking around. If the only negative thing I could probably say about the Starcruiser is I would have liked to see a little more droids, a little more aliens like that walking around. Just a little bit more of that kind of stuff I would have liked to see. And I say the same thing for Galaxy's Edge too, so.
Well, they had budgetary things. They had to
Well, no,
but
the
I mean, you're not wrong though.
The costume
more is better.
The costumes, the alien costume stuff were phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, they did such a good job with them, and the people playing the characters, it did such a good job.
Were there other Wookiees, or was it just Chewbacca?
Just Chewbacca.
Okay.
Yeah, just Chewbacca.
So I would have stood out if I wore my Chewbacca onesie.
Yeah.
One of these podcasts, you're going to turn it on. You guys out there are going to turn it on to Paul giving me crap because I'm wearing my Chewbacca onesie instead of.
I mean, I think it'd be pretty cool.
One of these days, guys. One of these days.
The only reason he's saying one of these days he doesn't fit it anymore.
That's not the point. You don't see from here up.
That's true. Yeah, you can just cut it off and
I can just cut the. The
no one would know
belly
that
portion out.
No one would know that I'm sitting here in my underwear right now.
You've got pants on?
I said I'm sitting here in my underwear.
Casual Friday, folks.
Yeah. So that was that's my experience about the Galactic Starcruiser. If you have any questions, put them in the comments or hit us up on social media. I'm glad to talk about it more. Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, it sounds amazing. I'm really grateful that I get the opportunity to, at the very least, since I didn't get to go, sit here and, talk to you and hear all the stories firsthand about it. So it sounds like it was an amazing experience.
It was. I'll miss it, and I'll never forget it though. So.
Okay. Well, thanks for story time, Paul.
Yeah, no problem. And guys, please subscribe to the channel, like, comment on social media, other social medias, follow, like, share, all those things. The faster we get our subscribers up, the more we can do cooler things. So yeah, thank you for that.
Absolutely. And don't forget, we are on Spotify now also.
Yeah, we are on Spotify. Does anyone listen on Spotify?
We have precisely 0 views on Spotify so far.
Fair enough.
Of the time of shooting this,
you could be the first one to listen on Spotify. Be the first one.
Prove me wrong.
Yeah. So thanks for watching. We are the One Way Out Star Wars podcast, and
may the Force be with you.
Always.